Are we looking at a possible civil war in Pakistan?
Look, it's difficult to say what the future trajectory is going to be. Okay. A lot of people have this thing Pakistan will break up in four parts. Now, I don't know where this four parts thing comes up from. It could break up in 20. It could not break up at all. It could simply, have a kind of an implosion where everybody is fighting everybody else, and you have these fiefdoms within, something like a Somalia. If you look at what's happening out there, that you have some Puntland and you have Somaliland and you have various other places. It's a mishmash. It's impossible to predict how things, when the cookie crumbles, how it's going to crumble, right? It's just not possible. You can make projections and make some guesses, but nobody really knows. Uh, I don't know. Maybe what's happening in Balochistan is also already a kind of a civil war. You can call it an insurgency, but you can call it a civil war. What's happening in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where the TTP guys are coming in a big way. Their footprint is constantly expanding. They initially started in some tribal districts, then they moved into the main districts. Uh, South KP, South Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, is virtually now a no-go area. If you hear of politicians from that region who say that, look, once evening descends and night falls, the state ceases to exist. There is no police, there is nothing, right? In Balochistan, I think yesterday or day before, they've passed an order that highways will be closed at night. Now, if you lose control over highways, you've lost control. If you don't control your highways, if you don't control your roads, you don't control the damn country, right? So that is already a situation which is there. Now, again, it's be highly premature to say that the Baloch are going to be winning their independence in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. I can't predict that.
What is even winning independence in the modern day? How do you win independence?
See, how you win independence is that the power that was ruling over you no longer rules over you, right? Now, this can happen within a particular country, in the framework of a particular country, that you have sufficient autonomy and that province can decide things for its own, in its own interest, in its own way. Or you can say that I have nothing to do with this damn country. Okay. I am a completely independent, sovereign entity, and I will call my own shots. I will decide how my resources are going to be used. Pakistan or some Punjabi sitting in Lahore or Islamabad is not going to decide that for me. That is the definition of independence.
But unlikely.
Look, it's a long shot right now. I think the freedom struggle in Balochistan has reached a point where not many people imagined it would reach. Now, let me give you a couple of, hard truths. One is that, remember, Balochistan might be 45% of Pakistan's land mass, but it's only about 5% of Pakistan's population. Okay. But that 5% is totally alienated from Pakistan. But practically and politically, they are not. Now, a couple of things are likely to happen. Pakistan is not going to adopt a generous approach and reach out to the Baloch to try and solve the matter. They will use brute force, which will lead to further reaction. That is, I think, a given. Secondly, what the Pakistanis are going to do is they're going to try and play their politics. They already have this crook called Sarfaraz Bukti as the chief minister, a man who's been known to be involved with death squads and all kinds of other nefarious things. He has the blessings of that other crook, Asif Zardari, and his son, Bilawal Bhutto. He has their blessings. He is from their party right now. He keeps switching parties. So politically, I don't see any initiative being taken place. Militarily, they're going to try and crush the Baloch, but the Baloch are likely to fight back. So one is that is a given. Now, if all other things were the same, you could very easily predict that the Pakistan army will crush them. But all other things are not the same. One, this is no longer a insurgency or a movement limited to a few districts. It's spread across the province among the Baloch people, apart from, Quislings like Sarfaraz Bukti and company. The second is that Balochistan is not the only insurgency that is taking place. You have another insurgency up north with the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. You have problems emerging in Sindh. And I don't see the Pakistan army saying that we will give up, our greed for more land in Cholistan, that desert, which I said they're building canals, and they're going to make Sindh into a desert to green Punjab. So Sindh is going to go up in flames. And there has been a kind of a separatist movement in Sindh for the longest. Okay.
For similar reasons?
Partly for similar reasons, partly because they want their own identity. But also remember that the Baloch organizations, militant organizations, just about 4 weeks back, had announced that 4 groups were coming together under a common platform. And it was called the BRAS. And one of the groups is a Sindhi group, a Sindhi militant group, right? So they are making common cause out there. You already have a weak economy and you have troubles in POK, both the Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK. You have problems in both these regions. A lot of which is not making the news, but those problems are real and they are massive. So you have that kind of a situation. So I think it's a legitimate question to ask, how long does a state hold on? It's an army or a security force which is losing close to 10, 15, maybe 20 people a day. Those are the estimates. How long can they sustain this? So now, how do you get freedom? You either get freedom because you are so strong that you are able to snatch it from the guy who's occupying you. Or your occupier becomes so weak that he can no longer keep his control over you. I don't know how the cookie is going to crumble, but I don't rule it out anymore.
Okay. To summarize this chapter.
Wo tu kar.
Please correct me if I'm saying something that's off. First point, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
But it's getting worse.
Yes.
That's all one can say, right?
Yes.
Second point, Pakistan seems to be in a place where multiple, in fact, all its states other than Punjab seem to have tensions brewing and the local population feeling that they are not given the importance by the government.
I'll just add a caveat to it. Even in Punjab, the controlling authority, which is the Pakistan army, is no longer unquestioned like it used to be. So there is a problem out there as well.
Third, the BLA specifically, the Balochistan Liberation Army, has been around for a while, but they seem to have become more organized and more fiery in the last 5 years or so.
Absolutely.
Next point, all this is happening in the middle of economic crisis. So the army has to actually deal with military operations all over the country. But because they've also taken up the role of managing the country, perhaps it's too many plates to balance.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that leads to its own set
and
of
not
problems.
enough brains to manage it.
Yeah. And finally, I think the average Pakistani, at least it seems to me, that the average Pakistani is losing faith in the government and they're able to see through what's happening, which is why there is an exodus that's happening from Pakistan. Lots of people are leaving the country.
And to that, onto the last point, anybody with an option to go abroad is running away, number one. Number two, big business is also not investing money in Pakistan. So when you are asking for foreign investment to come into Pakistan, you should at least have the local guy also wanting to invest his money. You can't say that I want investment from Japan in India, but no Indian businessman is going to invest in India. Then no Japanese is also going to invest in India, right? It's the same thing in Pakistan. They are trying to get people from outside to invest in Pakistan. But what about the Pakistani investor? Is he ready to invest? Have you fixed the problems which have spooked investors inside Pakistan? You haven't. So how is that investment going to come? So if no investment is going to come, where is the growth going to take place? If growth does not take place, then how do you employ people? How do you give jobs to people? And if you don't give jobs to people, people who are now getting educated, where do they go? They have to go abroad. QED.
It's a good summary of this chapter, I feel.
I guess so.